Alright, so I've just loaded into my latest save in Norland a couple minutes ago. It's paused at the moment, and one of the first things I noticed was Menhit. She's the queen, she's got the gold crown, which means she's the head of her kingdom, and Dust Valley is one of my vassals, so she's visiting at the moment. So for visiting people to like get interactions going with them and stuff, you do the issue the action on that character. When you're dealing with your own people, like if I want my queen to interact with one of my own people, I go to her action menu and tell her what to do, or I can tell them to interact with her. But for visitors, you always click on them, and these are the actions you can do. So I want. All right, they've already interacted with each other in the last 24 hours, and it's late enough at night. So actually, I might just leave that. People are getting ready for bed. But yeah, this is my little village, or my town, it's supposed to be my capital, Silverhaven, down here in the corner. And these are two villages that pay tribute, and every now and then missions come up to protect them, and a bandit camp spawns down here sometimes. And if you don't take out the bandit camp, over time it'll launch an attack on one of these two villages, which wipes it out for like 6 or 7 game days. It reduces your migration, and obviously they're not paying tribute. So up here, 107 is my civilian peasant population, and my warriors is 50, and the total value of their equipment there. And taxes to be paid every day, 1800 is a lot, or every year maybe, I don't know. But anyway, the trader is who collects that tax. He's left. So if you miss him, if you don't trade with him when he's here, he represents the church. Um, then the next time he's here, your tax will be doubled, obviously. Oh, vagabonds robbed the Hall's warehouse. This guy. We're kind of like all-powerful God here, I guess. This is. It's good you have this much control, but obviously I can see. I presume it's this bandit because they were leaving the warehouse, so we can just go ahead and execute them, which will be deemed unfair by the town, but it's one less bandit. We have 8 different types of criminals in the eight or eight seven. Well, seven. Well, one just died somewhere else. That one hasn't been executed yet. So she's waiting for Lanticia, the queen, to come execute her. Only the queen can interfere with justice like this. Normally, your executioners take care of that. So that's obviously another kind of criminal. The one we're executing is a bandit, and here comes the queen to do it. But this guy is a cutthroat. He's a worse kind of criminal. He's not intimidated at the moment. If he had been dealt with by one of my executioners in the last few days, he might have been intimidated. That's a dead bandit. So yeah, we saw the population drop by 1 already, and the execution hasn't happened yet. Uh, the guards, who are separate to the executioners, the guards are from the warrior class. Let's go. We'll go look at the execution. Where's the queen? She hasn't done it yet, has she? It would have been carried out at one of these 2 scaffolds. Waiting for an opponent. I think they're just talking by coincidence. Or maybe this queen chose to come talk to her, but obviously you saw I couldn't give her the instruction to do it again. So there's another cutthroat, and there's my prince, and these are warriors. Griffith and Rodina. Rodina is likely to be one of my townsfolk, probably a bandit. So with so many criminals around, a lot of crime is happening at night. So this warrior is not heavily armed, but some of them are. This guy's in armor. Heavy armor and a sword. But they have good combat skill. He's combat skill 8, and the bandit was only 4, and like Griffith is 10 or 11. So army management is done down here. We can see my total force. I think they're spread over 2 pages. Yeah, 50 of them. The blade sign, I think, means they're criminals. Yeah, former gangster. So there's a couple of them in the army, but not too many. So you can see 19 combat skill, all the way down to like 4 or 5, and I think most of my enemy kingdoms have like an average combat skill. My average is I think like 12 or 13, maybe more now. See there's they've got 23 warriors on call plus their lords, but 8 combat skill, and they will be well equipped as well. They won't be like all of my guys will be in heavy armor with swords or crossbows, whereas most of my opponents would be in that have similar gear, I guess. This is like the town hall here. So like nobles eat and drink here. The peasantry buy their food at the market and they drink at the taverns. And then these are businesses around the place. So this is my level 4 brewery. So I would have had to learn knowledge to build this in the first place, and then to get it to its, this is like its second highest upgrade level. I could get it up to a capacity of 5 workers, which the upgrades increase the productivity and the number of workers. So the productivity is increasing, and then the efficiency of the productivity is also increasing. So this is obviously what I've ordered. So the fact it's in red means there's not enough of the input resources currently available. And you can see here, these are all the different resources, so there's a lot. I have the UI made quite small to the smallest it can be, but you can make it quite a bit bigger. But I like to have, in the future, I'm sure you'll be able to turn on and off UI, but you've got a lot of clutter, so I make it small. But yeah, like rye, hops, herbs, rutag, rutag, I don't know. It's like a cabbage or some sort of root vegetable that can be used for food instead of rye, which makes flour. But this stuff is not as good, but it is important for feeding pigs on the pig farms and for making some moonshine, which I sell. I don't let the people drink because it's bad for them. And you can manage like your production orders. So this is what you want the businesses to produce, and then depending on what resources they can be supplied with, yada yada, how efficient the workers can be, and different things will determine how much of this stuff, how quickly they produce it all. So you can tell them to do a certain amount or do until, which is what I have most things set to. So they'll keep going until they get to 700 flour, which they'll rarely reach. So they'll rarely complete the order, so they'll just keep going. And then finances, you can determine wages and stuff like that, how much things cost at the market and how much is available at the market. So meat, I don't put much available. I have a lot of it. I cheated to get some of that. I cheated to get my food up to a good level because my population was at 120 and it just like went down to 100. I just kept losing pop. So I reloaded back like 10 days and my food situation had gotten bad, but that's some weird. I think that's part of the early alpha access. I think the population stopped working properly, so I cheated a bit to balance out my food situation and resources to try keep migration going. Today we've lost 2 people, and that has helped. But now they are producing. I found a way to keep them producing, which is set priority. So in case of a shortage of workers, workers will be assigned to this building as a priority. So just basically everything is set as a priority, everything that's necessary, and maybe just with limited staff numbers like this pig farm. It's only 2 workers. Well, it's level 2, so it only has a capacity of 2, but a lot of businesses would have higher. Anyway, so that's all the resources. There's quite a lot of them, as you can see. There's like 25 more different things. Obviously, weaponry, paper for rewriting books, and for the chanceries. So every business has to be managed by a lord, but eventually you get too many businesses. Apparently, they can manage up to 10, keep that going, but like you'd need to not be assigning them to other tasks as well for them to actually make it every 2 days or 2.5 days to give instructions. So instead, when your town gets bigger, you can build chancelleries and they need to consume paper to give out the instructions that are required for the day. So the number of paper required, I've seen it up to 7. So it depends how many instructions they're going to give out that day, because obviously they won't have given all the businesses at the same time. Sometimes if the manager, these lords over here are hired by me, but they're not actually part of my family. They don't hold titles, so they need to be rehired every 10 days. And it's kind of annoying. You have to wait for them to go out of contract first. So one of them manages this chancellery. So when they go out of contract, they'll stop being the manager. And I'll have a day or two. They'll hang around here as long as they're like happy with their situation. They'll hang around the town hall for a day or two, so I have time to rehire them. But they won't automatically pick back up their jobs. So the reason the Chancellery A managed farms, a lot of them have the same time that they need new orders, is obviously for that reason, because you forget about it for a day. The businesses still operate, the farm will still operate, but it'll operate at 50% efficiency while it hasn't received instructions. So in 1 hour, this is going to drop to 50% efficiency. But it's 7:30 in the morning, so the Lord is going to be going to church soon. Yeah, they're in church. Why is Slavorod given the? I think usually, yeah, maybe the priests do give the sermons, but no, yep, there's no manager for this church. So sermon of faith. These three are managing three churches. He'll manage the fourth. Um, so see, look, normally the Lord is giving the mass. Perfect, right? State and church in line. And we have fanatical citizens and stuff, and there's church loyalty for the citizenry and things like that. Religion doesn't matter for the lords at all. Um, but yeah, that's that's a look at my village, and yeah, so you have a pretty good idea of the game. This is all my territory. I have four kingdoms. So with my cheating, as you can see, I didn't do a massive amount of cheating, but it was enough that on normal difficulty, without some of the more difficult game mechanics turned on, like invading hordes from outer lands. I wish they would make another map, like where when you successfully become the empire here and conquer a lot of it, that like something opens up here where there was just another map with a big horde kingdom and more minor kingdoms. But yeah, the engine seems to be running into difficulty now with my population. So you can see here kind of the factors and a prediction of your migration. Um, so today, expected migrants today, 3. It's 9 a.m. So we could get 5 migrants. It could be 3 or 5 or 2, but we'll get that. And during the day, we'll lose 1 or 2, I guess, from death or something. We're on day 118. There's a way to check what year that is, but I think like the first 15 days were for free, and then after that, every 2 days is a year. So say 100 days. So I've been at it for 50 years. Lantisha is probably my fifth ruler, maybe. Here's the graves. You don't have to put up the monuments, but the characters do come and reminisce about the dead when they feel in the mood. So these are you, Tudor Neb. I used to call him Turbo Knob. Um, he died at 38 years old, I think. They say, well, how did he die? Does it say? Has passed away? No. Yeah, but he was killed. He was killed. I think they were all killed. 68. No, he was natural death. It took him like a year to die, 2 days lying in his bed. Um, and you can have people come visit them and stuff like that. You give them their last rites. You get a priest to go well, the priest gives them last rites automatically. So anyway, they're all the people that have died so far. Here's the building menu down here. Oh, I still have more monuments to do. Yeah, so this is the recent guy who was king, who I made him hand over the crown, and he was eventually challenged to a duel. Like multiple people tried to kill him and poison him. I remember one night, for some reason, watching his room, looking around, and I saw one of the other lords, this lady, his daughter, in fact, come up and break into his room, pick the lock of his door, and go to murder him. And I can't remember what I did about it. I think I maybe loaded back or something. I was like, no, not yet. But eventually I made him step down as king, and someone did kill him in a duel in the end. So let's put up his monument. So that just costs pure gold. I have 21,000. I'm fabulously rich. From selling stuff, my economy is not always profitable. My army eats up all the money my economy makes, and it breaks even more or less. But when the trader is here, I can do trade deals with the other lords. But when the trader is here, I'll see. I might edit in a clip of that. I can sell a lot of my excess stuff. So the weapons like daggers, spears, and some bows and arrows and light armor and shields, I sell that. My heavy armor, swords, axes, and crossbows, I don't sell any of that. And that's surplus. Most of the warriors, like, look, they're all in here training. They're not equipped in armor right now. So I think 81 is my total heavy armors, but they all have shields. So like I have 51 surplus shields. And the warriors that are patrolling around town, Like he's in heavy armor with a sword and shield. So actually, I probably have maybe close to 100 heavy armors because all my lords have one as well. They automatically have that. You don't have to build it for them. And obviously, that depends on quite a production chain of like charcoal and different things being used to make iron and yeah, iron, sorry, and then ultimately making steel for different stuff. But yeah, that's my kingdom. It's pretty much everything that's going on. Other kinds of stuff I can do with the lords, I guess. So here's what the knowledge looks like. So these are both categories of stuff that help the economy, obviously, and the people. So everything that's read here is learned by is available knowledge, whatever bonus it gives you, whether it's a new building or better army marching speed, for example, that affects your whole kingdom. Whereas these ones over here, textbooks, affect the characteristics of your characters. So learning different languages so they can read books that are in different languages, combat manners, all the different skills. And there you can see the fact that they're all in green, I think she's under some sort of bonus at the moment, so I don't think all her skills would normally be that high, but that's like extremely impressive across the board. And as you can see, intelligence, persuasion, manners. For my royalty, I always focus their education around manners and persuasion. Trade and stuff is good, but I can and management of businesses, but I can leave that to other characters. But my royalty need to be able to maintain if I send them to bolster relationships with another kingdom, I fucking obviously I want them to be good at it. So that's kind of a hack, I guess. Focus on those skills and you can smooth out a lot of problems. Same in real life, I guess. But you can't, choose so willingly what skills your family members have in real life. So and then you can see so Griffith. Griffith is married to her maybe? No, he's her son. My last queen was married to the heir. So it should have been like the king and the queen, but it does work that like otherwise what are they going to do that every time your queen gets married suddenly the king runs the place, whoever the leader is, whoever the king is. So in this case the other guy stepped down and his wife was the heir. She hated him at that stage anyway, so I don't think she really cared that he got murdered. But yeah, she became the queen and he became one of my lords. And Griffith, I think, challenged him to combat, and Griffith is 12 and I think my ex-king was 12 as well. So anyway, Griffith killed him. Yeah, I've executed one lord and blinded another, but avoid that generally. So these are the executioners. They go around intimidating people and do commit sentences. The three punishment types are, I won't do it, but this is what's available to anyone. Execute them. Mask of shame. So it's something that like scars them that they have to wear on their head for 24 hours, which I guess is like 6 months. And people can accost them and even assault them, I think, when they're wearing that mask, and it's allowed. And obviously, you can blind characters as well. And then someone who's not like Cynthia doesn't have an action she's undertaking or whatever, but she's like the scholar's hat means she's educating two people and she's also studying a book. And she'd be available if I need her for the army or whatever, and she can spend the rest of her time working on relationships with her brother and the queen. And the senior characters, I want them to have good relationships with the youngins so that they're in a position to have those deep and meaningful conversations and pass on the knowledge as much as possible. Like her overall knowledge is 41. I don't know if it means 41 books read. Maybe it does. Yeah, she has 41 books read, and he is 26. So what age is she? 55. So she's hopefully got a long time left to live. If I'm lucky, she'll live till she's 70. So he's gonna read his own books, but she's gonna over time pass on the rest of those books to him. Their relationship currently is, where is he there? It needs to be about 30 or so, and this fluctuates so much, by the way, but yeah, she's generally on good terms with her son. So she needs to, these are the different categories of education. Each one covers two skills. She needs to spend more time. So you can do that by flesh wolf hunting, which is a bigger bonus. They're both good fighters, so they can do that. And it does take out a dangerous wolf from the surrounding lands that is now not going to attack citizenry, which does happen from time to time. So I'll send them flesh hunting. It's 4 in the afternoon. It's coming to the end of the workday. They'll have done most of their tasks, and they'll get round to their tasks later. They'll usually get everything done, but Am I even clicked on the right person? Yeah, so the Queen and I think Griffith is her son. Unfortunately, that's not obvious. The family tree, even if I click on Dynasty, it's just setting what's acceptable behavior for each of your lords, what's illegal for them basically or not. And as you can see, that menu doesn't fit properly. But the wearing of weapon, the wielding of weapons, wearing of armor, consumption of whatever, nectar, that's drugs, alcohol. Yeah, so um, let's see, are they going straight? Yeah, she's already swapped into her armor, full armor. So the warriors you see around town as well, they are wearing heavy armor, but like they don't have their gauntlets or their helmets on. And they'd have their shields and their swords out in battle. But yeah, these warriors are like 5 times a match for any bandit. Bandits have 3 or 4 combat skill and daggers and no armor. Fausta. Why is Fausta is standing there looking like that because he's not hired anymore. See how like that passed by without me even noticing? So she's off hunting, so we'll tell Artan. And the 17 was, I think they're combined, or maybe how his conversation stats measure up for this conversation. And like 17 is a good score. What's his communication skills? His persuasion is 17, yeah, so it's directly showing what score he has. So that's very high. Um, Griffith, at 39 years old, is a manager of one of my businesses, so his management is quite high. He gives like a good bonus, so he manages this chancellery up here, which I forgot to finish explaining, and it's understaffed at the moment and it doesn't have enough paper. But it instead of a lord managing each business, because the businesses need to get their orders, as you can see, the chancery, I assign a lord, and he needs to do that pretty much as a full-time job. He can still read a book, he can still go off hunting with his mom, but he needs to spend hours every day at this place to manage it, and it needs to be supplied with paper. So he'll sit at these desks, and there'll be 3 workers, in this case 2, every morning, that he gives them instructions, and they go around then and spend about 30 game minutes talking to each business to hand over, like, I think 2.5 days worth of instructions. Maybe it is actually 3 days. The training yards, they need instruction every day. So the lord in charge of training your soldiers needs to come here for maybe at least an hour every day. And so I have 2 different. Oh no, actually, I have her assigned to both because I wanted to boost her skill. Your lord gets trained by this as well. So over the course of probably like 5 or 6 days, she's gone to 12 to 17, which is great skill. She's going to win any duels she has to face in the future. So I'm going to take her off one of those and assign her back to the original one, Siranth, who used to be the main lady for training. That's her daughter, I think, or she's definitely the daughter of someone, a recent lord. But again, it's not obvious, but I don't know, her dad's dead anyway. As you can see, Artan is not the father of any of these people, so both their fathers are dead. She's hired in from the outside, she's not part of the family. So is Artan, I think. No, Artan could be the son of someone as well anyway. So I think now I've shown you everything, give you a really good look at it. So I know that's going to turn out to be longer video than I expected, but yeah, that is like a detailed look at how the mechanics work out in Norland. I think they're really cool. It is still early access, but it's a pretty complete game. We can see the limits of the engine, it looks like, with my population now messing about at around, I got up to 120 and then it's declined to around 110, and it hovers, as you can see in this region. So it's still saying expected migrants today, but we got a +3 somewhere, so that must be migration. Um, Left province in the last 24 hours, 1. Workers needed for open jobs, 48. That's with prisoners, by the way. I think, yeah, but I don't have much at the moment. I actually built a second prison recently. Yeah, I got 12 over here. That's their mood, the red background. Same with these guys, actually, by the way. The background tile color means the mood that the character is in. So he's pretty happy. He's in 100% mood. She's in 71. So that's her general information. These are the main focus for her at the moment. She hates this king and she really likes our bishop. So when you get to a certain size, you have a bishop from the church permanently assigned, and this is the opinion of, it's quite a good opinion of the matriarch towards my queen. And if I look at her other stats, so as we saw, her mood was 71. These are the general things. So her sex desire is completely empty. She needs to have sex. Sexual obsession, actually. Mild hunger, moderate fatigue, in love with. Oh, she's in love with the bishop. So these are the social options we have for the bishop. Down here would be where, yeah, you could organize not sex, but for them to seduce each other, which obviously requires a certain level of existing relationship between them. Or even after just spending time together, regular two characters could have sex if they like each other. But not the bishop, I don't think. That it works that way with him naturally enough. So what we can do for her instead, see, like here's her social standard social menu. So there's no one she can marry available within our kingdom. You can marry your family members off to other kingdoms, but it doesn't it doesn't match up with your needs and stuff too often. So what we can do instead, we should be able to, the option is normally available on your character. I didn't see it there for some reason, but I should be able to find a female peasant. Oh no, a male peasant, sorry. What about this guy? 38, proposition, the queen. So she will proposition him. It'll cost these holy rings, that's money. The holy rings are a special currency that your lords love. You need it to hire lords, and you spend it on certain select things. Like help it, it's a way to pay them if you want to increase their loyalty. So if you see in all their inventories, like Griffith has 40 of these coins, the Queen has 114 because she holds obviously the total balance that's available to the kingdom, not including that's their private money. And they sometimes want more of that, and it can be a way to boost their loyalty. Not the only way, but obviously it's an important way to manage their loyalty. So she's going to spend one of those 114 coins or silver holy rings, give it to a peasant to have sex with her. Yeah, it looks like she hasn't paid him yet. Maybe because she's the queen, she gets it for free. Um, but yeah, let's see, does the money go down? So we got our three peasants up number, but also we still seem to be net loss because we're 107. Prisoner attempting to escape. If we get a warning that they're attempting to escape, it usually means a guard has discovered them. If they're escaping and not getting caught, that would mean that they're getting away, and we'll get a different kind of message. I heard a sword. It's a bandit fighting my citizenry. There's a guard. I can spawn an army. I can get one of my lords and hire some troops, but by the time they get here, the fight would I'll do it anyway. One warrior. He has his own equipment, and for the warrior, who did have his own shield, but not armor or weapon. Now, the Griffin has assembled an army. The soldier will have to go grab his sword and stuff, and I can send him over, but the bandit's down. Warrior stepped in, so I can disband the army. So yeah, the fight might have lasted long enough that the army could get there to help. So we can see the status now. This bandit, he's dead. His injuries, 5 bruises, 8 minor. He should have a serious injury as well if he's dead. His pain threshold was at 23, or his pain level was at 23, and you can see his thresholds. So that's how tough he is, physically and mentally. The time, the hours up there at the top beside his injuries is how long it takes to heal. Suspect, he's suspected of committing a crime. Build a scaffolding so that executioners can intimidate them and interrogate them. When they're intimidated, they have like a face with like a mouth sealed on it, and that means for the next day, I actually have an upgrade to that through knowledge, that for the next 2 days they won't be able to do anything illegal because they're successfully intimidated. This guy, look, intimidated, will be too afraid to commit crimes on the next day. The next 2 days it should hopefully be. But yeah, now I've definitely showed all the detail I wanted to. That bandit, I meant to follow him all the way, that dead bandit, all the way to his final resting place. He will have been thrown on a fire and burned in the church or at this altar. You build an altar at the beginning of the game when you don't yet have the technology or resources for a temple. And again, didn't I already assign a manager to this one? Oh, it was Fausta, and we had to rehire Fausta. So Chancellery could be out of, no, charging with paper is required. This obviously not, no one's working now at 2 a.m., but that Chancellery is waiting for paper. So, okay, as you can see, I'm clearly going to continue on now playing this game, managing my little kingdom, and the final goal in this is to declare myself empire. There's lots of king's ambitions targets I've been able to choose and meet along the way, and the final one, as you can see, is it says I'm current. Oh yeah, fruitful. I'm to my sub objective. I'm 89% of the way there, and to the overall objective, I own 4 out of 12 provinces. So yeah, I've managed to maintain good relationships. I lost one or two. This one, I think, shortly after I got it, and I was able to retake it. So there is management involved in keeping these. 12 sounds like a lot to manage, especially since my town doesn't seem to be able to grow above 106 people. But I'm going to keep working on that and see how big I can make the town, and hopefully updates come out that make that better as well. I do have Wemod to cheat, but unfortunately it doesn't have a population cheat option. So, but I guess this is better. I get to really test out and find out how well the town can grow. And I'm avoiding cheating now. I did use it to reset my mistakes. Population management is what killed my last game as well. I grew and grew and grew, but my economy hadn't been managed, and so I wasn't making the money to sustain it. But yeah, this one is working out a lot better. So let's see how it goes. I might make another clip a few game years down the line, and we'll see what's changed. So yeah, if you watched and enjoyed watching it, thanks very much. All right, peace out. Bye bye.